My eyes aren't dilated.
Are dilated or aren't dilated?
You're back on the meth, aren't you?
There was one that was like...
I love the way he just walked right over that.
There was one that was like smoking
that would mean
grease
I had to
for
leave
the artificer, and I was like, I don't want something that smells like smoke and grease on my face that I'm going to be smelling all the time. And if I'm going to get something that I'm putting on, I want to actually like the scents, therefore...
Good call.
I didn't go for what they call the GM, which is their unscented.
The General Motors.
This could be that too. All right. We pre-roll?
Just about pre-roll.
All right.
It's spooling. They're
Spooling.
How do you tell with Facebook? Facebook is so whack.
I did not do that. Don't
Their
do that.
bard was like
What?
My phone is always trying to sound crap.
champagne and caviar.
That does not sound like a bard.
Well, apparently it was a
Fancy bard?
fancy bard.
Yeah.
Because they had a fancy looking
Oh.
fucker on the picture, so.
It's a fancy bard.
I mean, that's fair enough. Alright, I'm over in
Okay,
YouTube.
let's do this. All right, you're in YouTube. Looks like I just got a notification. Good.
Oh, the artificer, like I said, the artificer was.
What are the chances of you messing up the intro?
Rob, you never mess up the intro.
As long as Larry doesn't give
I was going to say, it depends on what I say.
Do you want me to shout out a random name?
No,
again?
No. Let him do the intro.
I'd love to keep it PG if I can.
All right. Just
I get sick of clicking that box for explicit.
Hey, I've been trying to do better.
You can swear.
Okay,
at this,
so
by the
again,
way.
we're gonna be.
You know.
Yeah, we are not a podcast where you have to watch the language.
Yeah, only that.
So we're gonna go around the table, introduce who's at the table, and then Rob will say, and we're with, and then you'll do that. Again, your stuff. All right.
Ready.
All right. Okay, guys, we ready to do this?
Did I have it too loud?
No, I'm good. I like that. I'm deaf.
Don't
What,
worry.
you want me to hit
If we
buttons
make a
on that?
mistake, we'll just put out an update.
It really
Rob's
hurts.
back into that.
It so hurts. It's so hurt doing that. So you know how much time I spent on that, and I'm like, oh, Christ. That is so bad.
All right.
Oh, it hurts. But then again, Atari's commented on my stuff. They know what they were getting.
Exactly.
You know?
They knew.
They knew what they were getting. All right, and a 3, and a 2, and a... Live from the 6th subfloor basement of the Guys, Games, and Beer Towers. It's a podcast with more members than listeners. It's Guys, Games, and Beer!
Yeah!
No, that was
Hey!
very good.
So, who do we got here tonight?
It's Pingos.
Ryan.
Larry.
I wasn't looking.
Tom.
And Rob. And we're here with...
Gary Swear, the creator of The Day the World Stopped.
Woohoo!
Woohoo! Okay, so hey, we actually met you at the Pittsburgh Gaming Expo. You guys had a booth set up there, and I got to tell you, walk past, and your game is an attention grabber.
Thank you.
So we need to say we said that we got to get these guys on the show to talk about it a little bit. So we're going to talk a little bit about.
The Day the World Stopped?
I almost
Wow,
said
he
it.
got that.
Yeah,
No, he got it. He
it.
got it. He's good. All right, so so let's start with give the premise of the game first.
Yeah, so it's a like your old school turn-based action or JRPG, but I tried to add some timed attack events in it to make it spice it up, so you're not just sitting there hitting the attack button forever. It deals with themes of depression, relationships, and leading to an adventure to find self-discovery.
That is a good elevator pitch. Nice job there. All right, so
Did you consciously, obviously consciously, but did you have to put the suicide warning on there, or did you just think it was a good idea?
There is an aspect in the main game that one of the characters does actually attempt to do something, and he stopped. And I while I don't, it's important to the story, so I'm not going to take it out. But I just want people to know before they, get into those things, because some people it affects more than others.
Good call on that. All right.
Yeah.
So Rob's got some of the images up on the screen right now for those of you who are watching the podcast. If you're listening, so here's a big part of what caught my eye. Your artwork is absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, hand drawn.
I know.
And I'm just like, that was the thing that when I was looking at this going, this is hand drawn artwork. This is not what it looked like, a simple little small mobile game. This is a big game and you have it being hand drawn artwork. Wow. One, that must have taken a lot of time to hand draw. And then two, to have it be in that form with the combat. Wow, that is some dedication there.
So
Thank you.
did you do the artwork yourself? Or do you have a team?
Right now, it's just me doing everything.
Okay, so
So you literally did your own artwork. That's pretty.
All the artwork, music, and programming to an extent.
yeah, so we were talking about that. You are a bit of a one-man band.
A little bit.
So, for a project this big, it's unusual for a single developer to work on this. Was that a conscious choice, or it's just like, this is the way it's going?
It's kind of the way it went. The kind of like pipe dream was always to eventually do a Kickstarter to hire help before I, so I could get the game done before I die of old age. But yeah, I mean, I was in a band back in the day. I did a webcomic for 9 years. This gives me a chance to kind of do all the things I like without having to kind of shirk one of my other loves to the side. So I get to do art, music, and tell a story, and I'm a story whore. So, yeah, I like to give it away and get it as much as I can when it comes to stories.
Well, this game definitely covers that. So, so let's talk a little bit more, Jake, about a good thing. This is the art style is very unique in this. So you said you did a webcomic, which I did not realize you had done before. You said webcomic or comic?
Webcomic. It was called Demon Fist.
All right. So I was not aware of that.
I have to look that up.
Yeah, thank you. We have to look that one up now too.
It wasn't that big of a series, but I did it for a while. But it's just it's degraded.
You said you did it for many years, so therefore it's got to be.
Well, many years depends how much time you actually have to work on something.
Okay, sorry.
I've done a lot of things for many years. That doesn't mean I've done it a lot. I've just done it for many years.
True.
I understand that completely. Believe me.
True.
So.
I held back on that.
So again, for our listeners who can't see so this podcast is audio as well as a live stream video as well. So for our listeners who are listening right now, describe your art style in this game, which is to me beautiful. But describe it a little bit.
I mean, I've always been kind of as I've been told by many people, I have a very unique style, which I don't mind. I've always been inspired by stuff like Akira Toriyama, Dragon Ball, One Piece. They're anime, but they kind of stick outside the stereotypical anime look. I grew up not being able to draw X-Men very well, so I just did my own thing for as long as I could, and here I am now.
I hope this is a compliment, because it's a compliment coming from me. Your art style makes me think of anime mixed with the Darkest Dungeon art mixed together.
That's actually not a bad.
Okay.
That's not a
that.
bad
Not too
description.
familiar with the
Actually,
Darkest Dungeon, but I have to check that out.
It's a very dark video game.
he's not kidding when he says. Yeah, it's a very dark video game.
So
But yet the art style is very nice, and yeah, yours to me is mixing anime and the Darkest Dungeon.
So
I can dig that.
The day that the world ends, is it our world, or is it your own world, or some variant of something like our world?
Or is it a metaphysical world of you elevating yourself to a higher plane of existence because your world has ended?
Now, without giving any spoilers, the answer to all that is sort of yes, but maybe no. But no, it does take place. It starts out on David's world, which is basically Earth. But he ends up in his own fantasy world. he gets pulled into another world and gets on his own, like, would say in heavy quotation fingers, your typical RPG storyline. But it ends up going to a deeper meaning. Like, in order to save himself, he has to save his world and this world. So that's why the whole like second tagline is save the world, save yourself.
The game, and again, I did not have as much time as I would like at PGX because we were also working PGX as well as you, and we know how that goes.
Oh yeah.
So I have not had a chance to. I mean, I've looked at, but haven't delved deeper. What? Yeah, I'm gonna.
Well, I'm gonna continue on.
Jump in and save me.
So you had to create a world because the Earth one, okay, that's just what you're familiar with, but the fantasy one is something you needed to sort of come up with on your own. How difficult was that?
I wouldn't call it difficult, but time consuming. Because it's kind of like you get these cool ideas and then you try to like thread them together into a cohesive like tapestry. And then you want to do all the things that are stupid that you realize after you made a bunch of cooler things. And it just becomes a cycle of just revisions forever. And then hopefully it comes out cool in the end.
What about the story? What was the hardest part of writing this story?
JRPG, the middle. It's always the third disc lull, you know what I mean?
Nice deep cut.
Yeah. Where you just gotta find some way to give the player something to do that actually means something rather than just, okay, go find 3 more things. And I've been trying to avoid that by cutting unnecessary stuff or merging multiple things into one bigger thing that actually fits like characters through lines and storylines and whatnot. But as far as like the overall story getting into it, it was actually inspired by a real breakup. So
Ooh.
I had an ex of 8 years, and it just sad story is we fell out of love, and so I inspired this whole thing that like. The premise of the story is the guy's having the breakup talk with the girlfriend, and right when he's about to say those "I want to break up" words, the world freezes. And before he can figure out what's going on in this world, he starts getting attacked by these monsters, and that pushes him into this fantasy world. And all he wants to do is find out what happened to his, we'll say friend now, because technically they were going to break up, but we don't know yet. And part of the aspect of the game is kind of exploring his own relationship and how he really felt about that. And kind of dealing with interpersonal relations and how that affects his view of his world and even this world that he's now been thrown into.
This is a really rough breakup.
Yeah. Oh, dude.
Yeah.
I got the feels going right now. I'm not gonna lie, dude.
So obviously there's always challenges and things like that. But sometimes, I do some programming myself and stuff. And every once in a while, I'll go back and look at something and go, "Wow, was I just on my game that day?" Was there anything you kind of came up with that in this process that you thought you look at it and go, "Wow, that was cool"?
Specific thing, like anytime I get something to just fucking work, I'm just like, but like, programming is of the stuff I do. Programming's my weakest link. So what a person who actually knows what they're doing can do in a day takes me like 3. I'm getting faster, but it's been a long time coming. But as far as specifically what you asked, there was an aspect of the battle system when it came to time attacks and everything, like a wheel. If you have ever played Shadow Hearts, it was very influenced by that. But every time you successfully do that, you build up your burst gauge, and when that fills up, you could do a combo. And having that all work, and it was probably one of the few things that I had the idea and I got it to work without having to fix 17 other things that broke because of it. And it was just such a nice feeling that it just worked. It just fell into place, and it just did it.
Oh, that's a good feeling, I'll tell you.
Okay.
So I never get that feeling. It's always like, how the hell did this work in the first day
I know.
of place?
Okay, so I have to ask. I'm gonna go into the weeds a little bit here for some of our developer friends who are listening. Are you so? Again, I looked at the game. Love everything about what you're doing on that. Are you using a particular engine, or is this something you've developed yourself from the ground up?
No, I'm not that good of a programmer. This is actually RPG Maker. So
Okay,
like,
all right. That's what.
if anybody knows, like it's like the most basic of basic, and I'm just trying to make it look as little like RPG Maker as possible.
You've succeeded swimmingly well. I mean, it's absolutely beautiful. I did not realize you were just using that because that didn't realize it could actually do something that intense.
There's a
lot of custom plugins.
Wow, what a difference it makes. I mean, holy crap, that game looked flawless. So we've talked a little bit about what the game's about. We've talked a little bit about what you've done on. So now we talked about the artwork, but we haven't talked about the music yet. Wow, really? Wow. Let's talk about the music, seeing as you've played out in bands.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like high school bands, nothing major, and I, just make music for fun. Like I did a bunch of bad '90s covers over the past couple of years, just for shits and giggles. But yeah, I just always like making songs and everything. Always humming something in my head, and so I just have fun making it. A lot of times it'll usually be a lot of happy accidents put together. The theme that goes on in the first part of the game, where it's literally like I hit one note in the keyboard and I had a delay on it and it just echoed in an unusual way, and I built the whole song around that. It's literally one note and it works. That.
No, that's the very much so. Everything, and again, from what I've seen so far, really hangs together nicely. The audio is very important in a game like that, and I think that kind of worked exceptionally well. What was that, Ryan?
It all went in my eyeballs.
What?
When you opened the beer.
What, I shot a beer all that one?
Yeah, you did. Yeah, I watched it. It was pretty funny.
My sensitive, dilated eyes.
I'm not editing that out. Just so you know, that's staying.
That's the end of the show.
So obviously the group's pretty excited about this game. Where are we in the getting our hands on it?
I plan to have we're listed on Steam. I plan to have a demo available December 1st. It's already pretty much good to go. I just want to make sure things are all nice.
Ooh.
As far as the full game being finished, I'd say I'm about 35% done right now with the overall everything. But when it comes to core mechanics, I'm closer to 70% done. It's just making a lot of things, a lot of towns and stuff like that. It's written, but it's just I got to draw the stuff.
So a couple of things real quick. First of all, people, we will have a link to the Steam in the description or someplace in the comments on the podcast.
It's in the description right this
it's
second.
Already in the
Right
description.
this
I'm
second.
lying to you, so click on that and make sure that you put that on your watch list. Wow, I'm doing great tonight. It's been a long ass week already. It's only Tuesday. Jesus, dudes.
It has.
Those
It has
trains
been.
of thought, man.
So
They're just following up, aren't
outside
they?
of Steam, where else are there places that you can search for what's going on in the game? Because not everyone uses Steam as well
No.
as I do.
As much as we
Or I mean,
do.
as Rob does, but.
Hey.
There's a link to my the itch on the website, which is dataworldstop.com.
Okay.
So that kind of gives you get a link to the trailer, and also it has a link to either the itch.io demo if you don't do Steam, or just the Steam demo. So far it's the same demo I've been showing at conventions, and it'll probably stay that way for a while. I may do another demo when I'm further along with another thing that shows off some other fun stuff in the game that I want to let people see beforehand. But yeah, I got to keep some secrets.
Sure, that makes sense. So is when you launch the demo, are you gonna launch any kind of campaign or anything like any kind of pre-sale or support or anything like that?
I want to do a Kickstarter, but I do not have my ducks in a row for that yet.
Kickstarter can be a little bit daunting.
It's very daunting because I'm committed to this game. I've already technically worked on it for 8 years. Technically only about 4. Because I started in 2016 and then never touched it for 3 years, and then started working on it around 2020.
Thank God for COVID.
Yeah, exactly. It had nothing better to do.
We all cleaned our houses, we picked up old projects.
Started our programs again. Yeah. Okay, continue. I'm sorry.
Oh, no worries. But yeah, I totally lost my train of thought. Depending on my brain.
Welcome to my world.
What was I talking about?
Your Kickstarter process.
That's daunting.
Yes.
That is daunting.
But once I go to Kickstarter, man, that's when it's real. That's when people have spent their money, and as much as I'm committed, it's just like a daunting weight, a scary, scary weight. Because I don't want to disappoint anybody. I want people to be happy with whatever I make. But and not saying it would change my process or anything, but it's just it makes it way more real than I'm, and it's scary.
Hey, that's understandable. It's scary.
So we have we do a lot of things as far as we know a lot of indie developers. We speak to a lot of indie developers. That is a big step because you are committing to producing a product, whether it's a board game or a card game or a computer game. It's really difficult.
It is really difficult.
So,
I'm just gonna throw this out there. On one of your reward levels, you might want to think about, because the artwork's so interesting. Maybe at a certain reward level, there's enamel pins.
I was thinking
Cool.
I was thinking prints.
I was gonna say
lithos,
art book.
Lithos, an art book. Holy crap! Because your art is gorgeous.
Yeah, the art's really good on this.
Yeah, the art is the reason why I would be getting it.
Thank you. A coffee table, a coffee table book. A litho print for the wall, whatever. I mean, that really, again, and what caught my eye at PGX was your artwork. The art style really caught my eye as I was walking by, and that's when we got talking. And then it's like, oh, well, this is really cool. And the fact also that you're a one-man band is always kind of, we kind of like the underdog as far as, holy shit, he's doing all this himself. That's all.
I don't want to online forums short because I've been on many forums asking questions to figure out how to do things that I couldn't figure out myself, and I had a couple friends help me with a few little bits and odds, but overall it's been me doing everything.
So what's the hardest part about doing the whole thing yourself? What is the absolute most painful part of it?
Drawing scenery, basically.
So what was that?
They're drawing scenery.
Scenery.
Really?
I have drawn so many goddamn trees and rocks.
Come on, just Bob Ross said, "Happy little tree."
They are no longer happy.
I've drawn so many, they are no longer happy. They are scary and depressed.
And that's even with copy and paste, because I'll copy and paste, but I don't want it to look like I copied and paste. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you gotta change it up. It's hard to stay uniform too, I would bet.
I actually different but the same.
We made it to a moment of silence. We've done it.
Yeah.
We
Yay!
did it.
Well,
yes,
we knocked all the trains off.
Yeah. Okay.
All
So
the
yeah,
trains
well, that was
off.
you, Larry. That was just completely you. All right. Continue though. You were saying.
I was I've drawn so many trees and rocks. I actually prefer cities because they're I could just use a ruler. It's a lot more straight edges to take up space. I don't have to just draw gribbles forever.
All right. So again, there's some playable demos available. What's your general timeline right now?
In a perfect world, I would love to see the game done in 3 years.
Okay. And what percentage are you gonna be at before you kickstart?
I would love to have the first third of the game done by the time I Kickstarter, and I'm relatively close to that goal.
I was going to say, you said you're 35% already.
Because that when it takes that 35%, that's taking into the core mechanics and what's done with like setting and playable game. So
Trees
I
growing.
need to do like 85,000 more trees first. Got 2 more locations left to do, and that would finish out the third of the game.
All right. So people can they can show interest on Steam, and again, guys, link
Add
below.
to that wish list.
Link below. Put it on your wish list.
Gotta make 'em.
Yeah, it's exactly it. You know that's what it gives you an idea what your audience is going to be, so you really can get started on that kind of thing. So if people and you're on it, you said I'm sorry, itch as well.
Itch.io.
So for those non-Steam people, so we hate Steam and we're still on it. Why aren't you guys on it still?
I hated
Because
Steam.
they keep
I have,
erasing
like,
my accounts.
It tasks him.
I have no issues with Steam.
We've been on Steam forever. So,
I forget
but,
my-
not that we like
I
Steam,
prefer
but
itch, though.
we've
I
been.
mean, I do
No,
prefer
I'm
itch.
going to agree with you. Itch is much better. But we've been on Steam forever as well. So, so definitely, guys, click on the link, put it on your wish list.
I'll be adding the itch.io link as well to the podcast, and if you're on YouTube, I added it into the chat on that one.
So for our audio people, why don't you go ahead and one more time put out the itch and the Steam links for people.
So yeah, we got is just getting it up here. Hold on one second. Not remember my websites off the top of my head.
Can you shortcut them like you can? Wait, test that. I've never
For
tried.
itch.io, it's thedaytheworldstopped.itch.io, but the day the world stopped has all hyphens between each word.
All right.
And for as far as the regular website, it's just daytheworldstopped.com without the. And that'll take you to the Steam page right there.
Perfect. All right. So for those of you listening, check out those links. Rob, anything else we want to cover?
No, I think I've got it.
All right. Sounds good.
We mentioned that that's turn based. It's old school. It's got a really good look to it.
It's got an amazing look to it.
Mm-hmm.
Soundtrack sounded great so far. I absolutely love what you're
Actually,
doing.
I have a solder one now. So, like, you obviously start as a character that's in the game that you're basing on. But I'm guessing you run into a group of people or characters that will help assist you in your quests or your. I'm not one that plays a lot of JRPGs, so excuse me for not knowing what
No worries.
the normal. But I'm guessing you run into a bunch of people that help you along, and join your what is it called?
Party.
Party out.
Their party.
Party
Yeah.
out.
You're killing me, dude. You're killing me. You're killing me here.
Right?
I'm glad you turned to me because yes, I do love to play my JRPGs.
All right. Sorry, but continue.
Or jerpages.
Yes.
Jerpages.
Jerpages.
All right.
So yeah. Do you have like I don't know? Can you give just a couple of hints about those characters if they help you along, or? So I'm guessing.
So you have your main character David, who's stuck on this crazy adventure. He meets up with a character named Shaden, who is a mage who uses words to cast spells. Basically insults. So like fire spells, a sick burn. You have the coldest shoulder for ice spells. A dirty remark for earth magic, and a shocking insult for lightning. You have Kadoku, who's a wolf who lost his pack, and he's just looking for family again. And Block, who's actually a childhood drawing of the main character come to life. Y is a whole other part of the game that I won't get into right now. But yeah, she is a weird character, we'll say, but she does all sorts of outlandish things, and she's kind of the mom of the group.
Okay. Yeah, I guess that was what I was kind of looking for.
That sums
And
up
I'm guessing
nicely.
like the base character is kind of like I don't know, like the fighter class or is he got
Yeah,
a little bit of
you
everything?
basically be your hero class, like your typical fighter with a little bit of magic. Kadoku would be I would describe as like your glass cannon, does heavy attacks really quick, but also can get killed pretty quickly. And Block is kind of like your paladin almost, healer tank type.
Okay.
That's a good way of summing that up. All right. So again, people, look at the links below. Click on those. If you're listening to the audio, check out the links he gave out. Rob, anything else?
Nope.
All right.
All right, we're gonna roll it. All right, this is every episode of Guys, Games, and Beer is brought to you by Lionheart Racing. All the joys of racing without the rubber hot dogs. If you want to check out this game, take a look in the comments down below. Actually, in this case, look at the descriptions down below. We got links all over the place. What are we doing?
Point down.
I had pointed down and then I was going like,
Your hand's
yes,
going all over the place here.
yes, look. I pointed down and then, yes,
okay.
look,
All right. Oh, that's
look.
what that was.
And then Rob looked at me like I was fondling someone, so I went like
It
this.
looked like you were.
I did think you were fondling someone. I was like,
continue.
what?
Continue.
Are you threatening me? What? Anyway. Anyway, you can also check us out at www.facebook.com/guysgamesandbeer, where you can check out the dankest of memes. Every time I know I say it, I'm not going to say dank again, but you shouldn't be
You
50
keep saying
saying
dank.
dank.
Yeah,
You shouldn't.
Yeah, well, you keep.
By Master of
Thanksgiving.
Meatology, Thanksgiving. Oh, by,
Okay, that is now what I'm calling it from now on.
by Thanksgiving.
Continue, Rob.
By Master of Meatology, Dallas. Remember that those are not safe for work.
No.
Ever, and
No.
might not be safe for your future well-being. You can also check us out at www.youtube.com/guysgamesandbeer, and of course, the big center, the big kahuna, www.guysgamesandbeer.net, where there's that big old red, white, and blue 77 where you can click through to our good friends over at Lionheart Racing.
Hey, so we've got something coming up, Rob.
Yeah, you do, you lucky son of a gun.
No. We will be.
No, there's going to be posts from Japan. We should cover
There's
that.
going to be a bunch of posts from Japan. Part of the G2B crew is going to be in Japan in a week, dude.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so we will be hitting some video game stores. We're going to hit some flea markets. We're going to do some beer courts over in Japan while we're there. So keep an eye out for some live broadcasts from
What else are
Japan.
you going to do?
And we might be seeing a band called Lords of the Trident.
Yes, of
The
course.
reason we're going to Japan to be with our buds over with the Lords. So there'll be shows coming up in the next couple weeks from Japan. Rob is going to be broadcasting a whole bunch more interviews we've done.
Now we
as
got
well.
about six more interviews that were recorded at PGX.
Yeah, you realize after that I have a whole bunch that we recorded at Gamehole that we need to put up too.
I thought those were
Just telling you, Rob.
It's-
Love you.
It's
Love you,
rough
Rob.
being on this crew.
Love
It's
you,
rough.
Rob. We got a lot of interviews coming up. So,
All right, thank you very
about
much
that.
for
Wait. What's
Brown Liquor Christmas.
20th?
All right.
20th. Brown Liquor Christmas.
Okay,
No.
so on the 20th we got Brown Liquor Christmas, which we do every year. I think we're gonna do a Christmas beer court, followed by the usual where you just hear us talking. It's just like whatever crap we are talking about at the table.
Okay. That being said, I will start a betting pool on who's passing out first.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a rough year.
Brown Liquor Christmas, now with more jet lag.
All right.
And more Brown Liquor.
All right. Let's take us out, Rob.
All right, thank you very much for watching Guys, Games, and Beer. Do us a big favor, drop a thumbs up if you're in a place where you can do it. If you're on iTunes, give that review. You're getting way better sound than the people on YouTube. Those poor suckers, they just get crap, and you get this awesome, crisp sound that nobody gets other than you guys. Well, actually, all the podcasts.
All the
get it,
podcasts.
but
Not just you iTunes people.
otherwise, it sounds like ass. I'll see you next time.
Later, all. Bye. Bye-bye.
Guys, Games, and Beer.